Alrighty. Okay, welcome everybody to the Real Estate Roundtable. I'm Eric Blue. I'm your host. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. We got a great crowd tonight. It's going to be a super awesome night. We've got Ryan Nickel as our primary speaker. There he is right there. Apparently he brought his fan club. But no joke, Ryan is probably one of the most creative deal makers, and how he deals with sellers and gets them to do what he calls a skinny deal and seller financing. So we're in for a real treat tonight having Ryan Nickel as our presenter. Also, we Facebook Live all our meetups, and we also record them and put them on our YouTube channel. So we've already gone live, so this is going out to all our friends on Facebook. Also, for all you deal makers, yes, you in the back of the room, we love the fact that you do deals, but please take it into the lobby so those are the people who want to hear the program can hear it. Yeah, that worked. Alrighty. We will take a 15-minute break about halfway through, about 7:30 before we start Ryan. They'll give you an opportunity to do some more networking and get some drinks. Also, when you checked in, we got your email address. So we provide all the slides, both Ryan's and the Real Estate Roundtable slides will be emailed to you. So don't feel that you have to frantically take notes because you're going to get copies of everything. Also, as part of our tech setup here, our video system allows us to do picture-in-picture. So we capture the speaker speaking and we embed the slides right in the video. So you'll get a chance to get all that as well if you prefer video format. Also, we do share the entire email list of the attendees for each time with everybody in the group. If for some reason you don't want that to happen, just let us know and we'll take you off the list. But this is just a way to keep you all connected. If for some reason you connected with someone and didn't get their information, you can reach out to them later. Okay, Real Estate Roundtable. Who wants to read this for a Starbucks card and not Laurel? Any takers this time?
Really monotone, right? So bored, so everyone falls asleep. All right. Real Estate Roundtable is a community of like-minded real estate investors who meet on a regular basis to educate, motivate, and inspire each other to achieve financial freedom through real estate investing. We share stories, challenges, and tips about real estate investing. Instead of traditional networking, this group is really about getting to know, like, and trust each other to foster lasting real estate investing partnerships. We crowdsource real estate knowledge, evaluate real deals, and learn real estate investing strategies from each other. It's a place to meet new folks, cultivate new business relationships, and find partners to do real estate deals.
Awesome. And he's a first-timer too, so way to step up. All right, speaking of first-timers, okay, who here is a first-timer? Woo! Well, congratulations. You're not a first-timer. Well, thank you for showing up. You should have all gotten one of these. That is true. I think this is the first time you've been here before we started. That is also true. The first-timers have this first-time sticker, so make sure you get a chance to chat with those people, make them feel welcome. This is an awesome community of real estate investors, and we just want to make sure everybody's welcome, and we hope to see you back again. Okay, so when the group was first started, we were real small, so everybody had the chance to introduce themselves, and we've tried various formats over the months, but I think what we're going to do is, why don't we just take a minute or so and just turn to your nearest neighbors and introduce yourself for a few minutes here. Just say hi to someone you don't know. Hey, someone you don't know. All righty. So now let's see if we can reel everybody back in and get your attention. Okay. Now I think everybody knows their neighbors now. Okay, so this is not going to work either. We're going to have to come up with a new thing. All right. Okay. Well, I can see you guys are dying to network and connect with each other, which is a big part of what this group's about. The reason that's important is kind of one of our founding principles at the Real Estate Roundtable is real estate investing is a team sport. And if you're putting a team together, you want to do it with people you know, like, and trust. And we've tried to create an environment here where by coming continuously and kind of the more casual environment we have here creates an opportunity for you to get to know each other better, to know, like, and trust each other. So I don't think this format's going to work either. It looks like the folks in the back have gotten away. All right. Hello in the back of the room. If we can get your attention again. Oh, hey, Phil. All right. Welcome. All right. Also, when you checked in, there's cards back there that have information about the Real Estate Roundtable. We think this information is important. So if you have friends or relatives or partners that you feel, please feel free to grab those cards and hand them out to anybody you think should be getting this information. Okay, disclaimer. So all the information here presented tonight is for educational purposes. If you hear anything specific about a deal, make sure that you talk to your own professionals and vet any deals or individuals here. We're just a platform that brings you all together. We don't vet anybody, so make sure you do your own due diligence. Okay, so we're starting something new here. We wanted to bring some real value to the first part of the meeting, so we're going to have a recurring segment with, come on up. We're calling it the Investor's Corner, and this is Laurel Sagan. So first of all, she's also a new sponsor, and she's now the queen of the Real Estate Roundtable. She's been a huge supporter of the Real Estate Roundtable. I think she's spoken here about 6 times already. She always contributes awesome content, and we said, hey, you're already a part of this. Why don't we come and make it a regular thing? So with that being said, I'm going to hand the mic over to Laurel. And
cool. Yeah. So every week I'm going to spend about 10 minutes giving you tips on being in the real estate business. I've been in it over 20 years. I flip $1 million homes as well as I have a wholesale business. Most of you know SAC Wholesales. And so people ask me, what should I do to be successful in the real estate business, right? So I'm going to start giving kind of the principles that I learned by, and I'm always going to try to tie it into the speaker that's coming in so that every time you can walk away with something you can actually do to improve your business. Now, I want you to be very clear. Real estate is a business, not a hobby, okay? And people treat it like a hobby because it's really fun and really cool, and we love it, right? It's exciting, but it's really a business, and it's tough to get into the business and do it well, okay? So I'm going to teach you some of the principles I learned. And the first thing I'm going to say is to always begin with the end in mind, okay? What is the end? Where are you going to end up? Whether it's 10 years from now, a year from now, a month from now, a week from now, a day from now, or before you have this critical conversation with your seller, with somebody who wants to sell their house. What is the end that you have in mind? Because if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to end up anywhere, you know? So it always starts for me with planning, business planning, right? People ask me all the time, well, should I wholesale or should I flip or should I have rentals? And I say, yes, right? Or it depends, right? What is it that you want to have from this business? Now, when I first started in the real estate business, I wanted to have a lot of rentals. And at one time I had 30 doors. And then I found out I was a horrible landlord. I sucked. People played me. I lost so much money. And I realized I didn't really like tenants and toilets, but I love fixing the houses up, right? So I started selling my rentals that I found right away because I could get 5 years worth of profit in a month, right? By selling to other landlords who are better landlords. So then I redid my business with that end in mind. And so that I would, when I walk into a property, I'm looking at, okay, what is the ARV? Does anybody know what an ARV is? After repair value. What is the highest and best use for that piece of real estate? And most of you know I wholesale properties, and I probably go on 15 appointments with sellers a week. And I do over an hour's worth of due diligence every time before I go see those properties. I know what the houses are selling for in the market, what they looked like, how big they were. If I add 400 square feet, how much I could sell it for before I even go see the property. What is the end? What is the ARV? What is the highest price I could sell that for? And then what will it take to get there? So every day when you're talking about going into a critical conversation, what is the highest and best use? Where would you like to end up in that conversation? And do your preparation before you get into that conversation. If you want to borrow money from somebody to do a real estate deal, what is the most you can pay for that money? When can you pay it back? Always begin with the end in mind. Look, I use it with my wife. Always begin with the end in mind, okay? I use it with my business partner. What do I need to have happen in this conversation before I go into the conversation, okay? If I had children, I'd probably do it. I do it with my dog, but it doesn't really work with the dog. Okay, good. But if you know where you want to end up, and you can look to see what is it that you need to say in the conversation, or what do I need to, it's Monday, right? How many of you already have a sense of satisfaction for your whole week today? Like you're on track for accomplishing what you want to get accomplished for this week, and it's Monday, okay? Yeah, we know Eric. His end is very short. If you're fulfilling on a plan and you know where you're going, a lot of times Ryan has to know what his end buyer is going to need before he even goes into a conversation, right? If you don't know where you want to end up, you're going to get chewed up, okay? People are going to take advantage of you, okay? Because you don't know your numbers. You don't know what you need out of the deal. You can't create a win-win unless you know what everybody needs. So that's my tip for the week is always begin with the end in mind. Whether you're doing business planning or critical conversations, know where you need to end up, know what you need to know before you go in. Okay? Oh, any questions about that or any comments? Yeah. Okay, after repair value. It's the highest use of that property. And it could be several, like if you just take, like you're going to see a 2-bedroom, 1-bath property in East Sacramento, 1,000 square feet. So you need to know what is the after repair value of a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, 1,000 square feet in East Sacramento. But you also need to know what a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot after repair value would be in that before you go talk to them. And you need to know before you go in, do you have the capacity to do that? Is that something that fits with your business plan? If you don't know where you're going to end up 10 years from now, how do you know if you should be renting that property or flipping that property or wholesaling that property? If you don't know where you're going. But ARV is the after repair value, the highest best use of the property. Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Okay.
Awesome. So I think that's great advice. And I think that also the ARV really applies to the wholesalers out there too. I look at a lot of numbers where the wholesalers are way out of line on what they need. So I think taking that same approach and applying it to wholesaling is very valuable too. So this is going to be a recurring thing with Laurel. She's going to keep building on this and adding to it. And, she does a lot of things and really has a pulse on the market too. So she's going to be contributing every meetup and bringing us new and exciting thing in the world of Laurel Sagan. So we're super excited that she's going to be a part of the roundtable now. Okay, sponsor spotlight. So first of all, we got to give a big shout out to the Fulton 80 Tap House. This has been our home for about 6 months now. And what do you guys think? I don't know if Dwight's back there, but Lisa's working hard behind the bar. So one of the ways that we keep the Real Estate Roundtable free for attendees is by supporting the bar for food and alcohol. So make sure you guys take advantage of that, and it will always keep the Real Estate Roundtable free. And they have been just hugely supportive of us. And, in fact, this place is normally dark on Monday night. They open just for us so we can have this great venue. So we love the Fulton 80 So also we support them too. They didn't have a Facebook page, so we created one for them. So if you get a chance, check in with them and give them a like and show them some support there as well. Also, we love our volunteers. This whole group is run by volunteers. Normally, Colton's here running our tech. He's taking himself a vacation, so good for him. I think he's in the Grand Canyon right now. But I want to give a shout out to Ethan, who stepped up to make sure all the sound, video, and everything's working. We had some people, I know Shane stepped in and helped. And Josh helped set up. So we love all the volunteers. Also, if you love the Real Estate Roundtable, or maybe you're new to the whole real estate thing and you really want to get plugged in, there's plenty of opportunities for volunteers. We can always use help checking in. So just check in with me. Also, at the end of the night, we need help cleaning up. So if you find you want to get a little more involved, be a service, help us out, we'd love to have that. As I mentioned, you probably haven't got enough of Laurel Sagan yet. So she's our brand new sponsor. She's officially what we call the queen of the Real Estate Roundtable. So when we created our sponsor categories, we kind of played off the Knights of the Roundtable thing. So from now on, she's to be addressed as Her Majesty. So Laura, would you please come up and tell us about your business?
Okay, so one of our businesses is sacwholesales.com. About 3 years ago, I was getting very frustrated with the wholesale business and finding deals for my flipping business. So I started a whole marketing campaign, and we usually get about 10 deals a month, maybe a little bit more during some months. Right now, we have 2 opportunities. Got one in Tahoe Park on 59th Street. It's 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's disgusting, which smells like money to me. For $270. First day we showed it was today. And then we have this great property in Granite Bay. We had somebody all set up to go, and then it fell apart. Somebody lied to me. Not good. So it's now available again, 1.2 acres, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a studio apartment and a 100-year-old barn on the property, right off of Auburn Folsom. A half a mile from Beal Point. Just a really great property. And so it's available, but we got to hustle because I might just buy it myself. It's a great property to flip. What's that? Nah, not in Granite Bay, unfortunately. But I think it would be well over $1 million if you add a little bit of square footage to it. And that I'm having a hard time comping out a barn. I think you can. You need to check that out. But I believe it could be a great wedding venue. No, dude. I'm thinking if I wasn't against mowing the lawn, an acre of lawn, I was thinking Laurel Cave. But there you go. So, anyways, go to sacwholesales.com. You can sign up and get our email or a text message of all our deals that we get. We try to offer really good deals to the investor community well under market. Sometimes they get bid up, but a lot of times you can get a great deal. So thanks.
Front row. I just broke it. All righty. Mike, you want to talk about Simplicity Group?
Hello. All right. So a little about me. I'm a, for those who don't know me, I'm a real estate broker up in Paradise. I've opened up a, my name is, well, it should be on the slide. Who made the slide? Oh, you made the slide. Never mind. So this is my name. I'm Mike Zuccolillo. I've been here a couple times. Broker and investor up in Paradise. I've just expanded down into Roseville. Office is kind of split. We do some retail business, but what I really have passion for is doing flips. But one thing I've learned is I'm really good at putting the deal together, and I'm really good about figuring all the details, and I don't have the time to do door knocking, and I don't have the time to get out there and do that. So I'm looking for people that are interested in if you, excuse me, tongue-tied. If you're interested in learning to door knock, interested in learning how to do wholesaling, I'm looking for a couple people that I can train to send deals to me. You get knowledge on it. You learn about the market. So thanks for having me here, and thanks.
Well, thanks for sponsoring. All righty. So who was here when Randy just spoke? He was our very first speaker in January of this year. He loves this group, and so he's one of our biggest sponsors. However, he has not been able to return because he's so busy. So we're going to try something new tonight, and please give me some feedback afterwards if you guys like this approach. So he sent a video in just so he can say hello to y'all. So let's see how this goes. Get the sound. Ethan, you get the sound?
Hi guys, Randy Just here. I haven't been at the real estate roundtable meetings here for, I don't know, it's been a few meetings. And guess what? I'm actually out in the field actively working on some flips. Got one here, got some broken windows, busted up and so forth. We're doing it, we're working it, trying to move them through the system. Got quite a few projects going on, and you know, I will be returning there to say hi to you guys. Love you guys over there. Also, you know something? Besides me working on so many right now, do you know what I'm doing? I'm also looking for more to buy. So if you guys know some properties out there, cash transaction, quick closes, give me a call. 530-812-5143. That's 530-812-5143. Looking forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye.
Right. Well, Randy's a great guy, and he's a really sharp real estate guy. So we thought we'd give him this opportunity. And he partners with Ryan on a lot of deals, so I'm sure you'll hear more about him. But he feels bad about not being here, so we wanted to see if this will work. So Matt, the mortgage guy, he also said, well, if it's good enough for Randy, I'm going to give it a try as well. He's another big sponsor. He hasn't been here because his son has Little League, and they just finished last week. But as it turns out, his wife got sick tonight, so he thought he'd phone it in as well. So,
Tablers, Matt, the mortgage guy here. Sorry I couldn't make it tonight. Eric, I know the plan was to be there tonight. I was looking forward to seeing some folks I haven't seen in a while, talk a little bit about the debt service coverage ratio loan. But unfortunately, had something come up and am not available to make it. But real quick, Matt, the mortgage guy, mortgage broker, really proud to sponsor the Real Estate Roundtable. Bunch of great folks. Sorry I'm missing the presentation tonight, Ryan. We'll have to meet up for lunch sometime soon so I can pick your brain. I'm sure you're going to deliver a great one. But real quick, while I've got your attention, debt service coverage ratio is a non-QM loan that not a lot of people are aware of. And so for whatever reason, if you're looking to buy real estate, especially if you're looking to hold it and you don't show money on your taxes, there's a great loan out there, and they basically use the debt coverage versus the debt coverage service ratio is how they underwrite this loan. So to make it really simplified and quick, you've got a duplex, your all-in payment, principal, interest, tax and insurance is $1,800. And the duplex rents for $1,000 a side. That $2,000 versus the $1,800 total all-in payment means that your debt service coverage ratio is over 1. And in that scenario, you put 20% down and you've got good credit. They're not going to worry about what you make on paper, other parts of the underwriting that you'd have to go through for a Fannie or Freddie loan. So in the case where the debt service coverage ratio is, I think 1.1 or 1.2 at certain lenders, the terms get better. And then there's other lenders where if you put down 25% versus 20%, they don't even worry about what that ratio is. It can be 0.8. It could be a $1,600 rents and a $1,900 payment. They're not going to worry about it if you put 25% down. So lots of that stuff out there with a ton of different lenders I work with. So if you have any questions on that stuff, please feel free to reach out. Matt the Mortgage Guy, 916-529-7600. You can check me out at mattthemortgageguy.com or email me at matt@answerhomeloans.com. Hope you guys have a great night. Sorry I missed the presentation, Ryan. See you next time, Eric, and you guys have a good night. Bye.
He said it. So real quick. I mean, we love having these guys. They're big supporters, not only financially, but bring a lot of value. What do you guys think about them sending a little shout out on a video format? You guys liked it? Okay, so we probably aren't going to have any more sponsors show up. They're going to just start sending videos. But they truly want to be here, and this gives them an opportunity to say hey. So we really appreciate their sponsorship, and we thought we'd give this a try. And as long as you guys get value out of it, we'll keep it going. Oh, but we got Sierra Bay's actually in the house. Oh, we got Will's going to talk tonight.
Thank you, Eric. Hi, everybody. My name is Will Dengler. I'm the president of Sierra Bay Real Estate and Development. We're headquartered in Gold River, California. We are what has evolved into a bit of a resimercial firm. So we are doing residential and commercial. We're doing, our brokerage is doing deals on both sides of the house, and we are developing on both sides of the house as well now. So we have our first commercial development getting ready to go up soon. We're about 2 weeks out from permits on building our first development of 15 townhomes in Carmichael. And we have a meeting on Friday to get Opportunity Zone funding to start putting some of our dreams into developing out our community here in Sacramento. So if you're interested in any of those things, please let us know. We're flipping 6 homes right now, so we're always interested in wholesalers that are buying or for people that want to be trained in any of our core competencies. There's a lot of people here who have done deals with and for Sierra Bay, and we'd love the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I'm actually going to turn over the mic to Shane Kiefauver, who's one of our top lieutenants, and he's going to tell you a little bit about what we have going on for active projects. Please tell him what you're doing.
All right. That was different than what I was going to talk about, but that works. That's okay. I'll talk about that later, though. I'm going to talk about something serious. How many people have actually done a real estate transaction? All right, we got a good amount of people, probably 70, 75%. Out of everybody that raised their hand, how many people had help getting that first transaction done? A lot of people. And the point of that demonstration was to show that a lot of the times we need help with real estate. This isn't an individual game. And I've talked about this before. A lot of people talk about this. The important thing is to have a team, have people you can rely on, mentors, guiders, anybody that can help you through the whole transition, get used to it and whatnot. So I actually want to challenge you guys because my favorite roundtable event was actually a speed dating event that we had. For those of you who aren't there, it was essentially just like it sounds. You sat in a table in a round circle kind of, and for every 2 minutes you would switch seats. And then you would tell somebody who you are, what you're interested in, and vice versa. And you would really figure out who you want to work with and how you can help each other. So I challenge you guys today during our networking event after the sponsorship and before Ryan gets up and talk, really hone in on somebody, figure out if you want to work with them to take your business to the next level or even get that first deal done. So get out there, find contact information, and see what you can do with everybody that's here. It's worked for us. That's how I met Will and Ken and got in touch with Sierra Bay, and that's changed my life. So get out there and network. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane. Yeah, since Shane's been coming to the real estate roundtable, he's totally started his real estate business. He works a full-time job and does real estate and is killing it. So I think the recurring theme that I've heard from all our sponsors in Laurel is take some action. You know, you're not going to get anything done by sitting at home, whether that's talking to someone, whether that's having critical conversations, whether that's doing some research. but do something every single day to move the needle on your business. Thank you, sponsors. So we also have some friends of the Real Estate Roundtable. We've got Colin and Guido over there. They just help us financially. They don't want to say anything, but they just want to make sure that this organization will keep moving forward. So on the break, why don't you guys raise your hands just so they know who you are. So when we take the break, make sure you guys run over and say hey to those guys. They're really sharp real estate guys. Okay, real quick before we go to break, let's just take a quick survey to see who's here tonight. So who are our wholesalers? We need deals. That's it? Oh, there we go. Thanks, Laurel. Okay, great. So if you're looking for deals, make sure you talk to our wholesalers. Okay, who are our flippers? Got a handful of flippers there. Awesome. Okay, buy and hold. Who's doing rentals? I'm a cash flow guy now. Yeah. Skinny deals. We're going to hear more about that. Multifamily. Might as well include out of state. Who's doing out of state with multifamily? Awesome. So make sure you check with him. Commercial. Will mentioned they're doing commercial. Oh, we got a few other commercial people in here. Yeah. Awesome. Private lenders. Who's our money people? Yeah, I know Mike's got a ton of money. I got some money. 2%? I'll take that. And then notes. I know Guido's our note guy. Anybody else in here doing notes? Cool. Well, if you're interested in notes, make sure you run over and talk to Guido. So we're going to go ahead and take a 15-minute break here. Make sure you reach out to the people that raised their hands in the categories here. Get a chance to go visit the bar, freshen up your drink. We'll be back in 15 minutes with Ryan Nickel. All righty. Okay, we got Ryan up here chomping at the bit to start, so why don't you guys find your way to your seats?
Looks like the room got smaller.
Yeah, the room. Okay. God, we love to see all this networking, but it's time to get going. We'll have more time for networking after Ryan, so. Okay. All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and let Ryan introduce himself. We're super excited to have him. Like I mentioned, he's one of the most creative deal makers I know. And what's so awesome, he's totally transparent about how he does his deals and how he interacts with sellers. So we're in for a real treat tonight. So with that being said, here's Ryan Nickel.
All right. Thanks, guys. So you guys ready to have some crucial conversations? How's the volume? I don't hear anybody like, do you say anything? Yeah. All right, so we're going to go to the art of converting sellers to seller financiers. But first, who's this guy? Who's Ryan Nickel or Ryan 5 cents? Perfect, thank you. So this is me when I had facial hair. Now that I'm prepubescent, I lost it all. Clean shaven. So I'm actually a family man. This is my wife and my 5 kids. It's crazy. So this is why I do what I do. Not because I love real estate, just because it gives nice paydays. I got to pay for these guys' college tuitions and weddings. I got 3 girls. I'm also a best-selling author, in case you didn't know that. Here's the proof on Amazon. Woohoo! I'm actually a 2-time best-selling author. There's the proof again. And but before all of that, before I was rich and famous like Eric, I lost my house to foreclosure. How many of you know my story? How many of you have seen me speak before? Okay, cool. Not much of you, so I'll spend a little bit of time here. So it was 2010. I had a tenant call me, and actually it was my property manager. You got to love property managers, right? So this is a house. It's in a college town in Idaho, and I'm about 15 minutes away, and it snows sometimes in Idaho, supposedly, I guess. That's what happens. So rather than go up there and show the property, she just put a sign in the yard and left the house unlocked. So yeah, it's like asking for trouble, right? So she gets this amazing tenant that's there, and he's like, well, I don't want tenants there because it's a duplex. So he takes the sign down, throws it in the garage, and that's it. And I'm like, what the heck? 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, and like I don't know anything about real estate at this point other than I own this house and I moved and went to California. So like the 3rd month, the 4th month, I'm calling her. I'm like, find somebody, lower the rent. I don't care. Like $100 a month, just something. I'm tired of bleeding. So go to find out the reason why it wasn't being rented, because she's just like, oh, it's unlocked. Just go in there and check it out. See if you like it. Come back and tell me if you want to, rent it. Is the dude upstairs changed the toilet, put it back on himself. I guess there's something called like a flange, like a wax seal and all these things. Doesn't do that. So every time he flushes it, it goes right downstairs and started flooding my basement with all this feces. So by the time she finally realizes there's like mold everywhere, growing, health hazard and stuff like that, I get told, hey, your house is falling apart. We can't rent it now. It's a health hazard. So I move up there, try to save the house, don't have a job. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not handy at all. And my house goes into foreclosure. But guess what? My good mother-in-law goes, don't worry, I'll save you guys. I'll give you some money. She gives me $10,000. I try to bring everything current. I still don't have a job. So the house, guess what? Goes right back into foreclosure. Lose the house. And unfortunately, we lost the house the day after Christmas. It was one of the saddest times of my life. I had a 1-year-old baby. My wife was pregnant with our second. We were so poor that year, we couldn't afford a Christmas tree, that I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is actually a tinsel Christmas tree. My wife went down to the construction paper shop, one of the crafty stores, got some green construction paper, some tinsel, and this was our Christmas tree that year. And all we had underneath it was just, a couple of dollar store presents for our daughter. So the day after Christmas happens, we get kicked out. My wife's pregnant. She's crying. She's like, what did you do to us? And I'm like, I don't know. Fast forward to 2014. And I'm living in South Lake Tahoe. And my wife says, we lost an important part of our family last week, Ryan's job. He's an incredible marketer and is on the lookout for a new job. I figure it can't hurt to put the word out there. So I lost my job. And I was scared out of my mind because now my wife is pregnant with our fourth child. And at this point, she's pregnant with our fourth, and we have 3 children. And I don't know if you've been to Tahoe or not, but there's not a whole lot of job opportunities unless you own a hotel. And I'm not very hospitable, so I couldn't get hired. So freaked out of my mind, not knowing what to do, I went down to my local welfare office and applied for food stamps. Had nothing better to do than to just make sure that my kids actually had food to eat. So I'm feeling pretty miserable. I got a foreclosure on my record. I can't support my family. I'm now on food stamps. And I have a friend reach out to me. He's like, Ryan, don't you know that real estate is the best way to make money? And here I am thinking like, dude, I lost my house already. It hurts too much. I don't even want to talk about real estate. So he convinced me to, because I was in real estate, I was in marketing. He convinced me to go out to Georgia to learn a little bit about what he did. So I come back all amped up. And in September 2014, I donned the hat of a real estate investor. Now, the deals just came pouring in, right? That's how it works. I put it on Facebook, therefore it must be true. And then nothing happened. It was crickets. I was struggling. And so for the next several months, he's watching me from Georgia just struggle. He's like, dude, come on, man. Like, you have to do this. You have to make this work. So he invites me out to Georgia. I'm like, dude, I don't know anyone in Georgia. I'm not going to Georgia. I'm not leaving my wife and kids. I'm going to stay here comfortable on food stamps. And finally, after enough convincing, I decided that I was going to do this. So I kissed my wife and kids goodbye. I packed up my little 1999 Nissan Sentra, and I drove cross country all the way from South Lake Tahoe to Georgia. I arrived a week before Thanksgiving. I was greeted by a beautiful air mattress on the floor of a guy's closet. He says, hey, I got a closet here if you can sleep in. I'll teach you real estate. Oh, by the way, I think you can only do this in Georgia. But he put a surround in the corner and cut a hole through the wall so the water would go out from the shower. He's like, there's your shower. I'm like, dude, all right, man. So I was there, and I'm literally crying at night because I don't know if I can do this. How many of you have ever done something so hard that you just didn't realize that you had it in you to actually do it? Like, this was me. And I'm like, this is a do or die situation. Like, I have to make this work. Like, what am I going to do? My pregnant wife is back home. I have kids support that I'm trying to support, and I'm struggling. So I took my, as CRBA mentioned, none of us, if you do, I applaud you for it. But for the most part, none of us get through this life without someone giving you a helping hand. So this mentor of mine took me by the hand, and in 3 weeks, with no money and no credit and no banks, I got my first deal. And this is the family, the mother and daughter that bought it from me. Here's my check. They still cashed it even though they spelt my name wrong. Yeah, this was my first check. I didn't want to, I was like, this is forever going to be like the most memorable thing for me. This is my shut up check. You guys know what I mean by shut up check? So I had my in-laws, I had my parents, I had people like, oh, what does he think he's doing? Oh my gosh, he's chasing dreams again. What's his problem? He's like pie in the sky. This is my shut up check to those people. But more importantly, it was a shut up check to myself because I had self-doubt. We all have these doubts. They're like, oh yeah, I don't know if I can do this. This is tough. And so this was a check to tell all my fears to just shut up because I could do this. And so everyone needs a shut up check. So that's what I got. So that's my story. That's where I'm at. And I love real estate and I will never go back. It's a part of who I am. In fact, I don't own any other shirt other than this shirt. I love it so much that I went out and literally bought 15 of these shirts so I can just rotate them through every single day. So let me set the stage. So we're going to be talking about seller financing. And I want to make sure that we're all on the same level here when it talks about seller financing so we have the same definitions. And then we can dive into actually how to talk to a seller. Like how to get a seller to actually agree that, yeah, sure, here's my keys, take my house. So we're going to have those conversations. Or I'm going to share with you some of the conversations that I've had with sellers that have actually given me the keys to their house. So what is seller financing? Seller financing basically is where the seller finances a portion or all of the sale by clearly defined terms. Let me give you an example of what I mean. So these are 3 types of seller financing that we'll refer to. There's lease options. Have you guys heard of lease options before? No. Okay, good. There's contract for deed. So these are going to go down as far as like, order of technicality. Lease options are probably going to be the most easy to do. And then we're going to go contract for deed or land contract and then subject to purchase. So don't worry, you don't have to memorize these things. And we're not going to go deep dive into what seller financing truly is, like what that looks like. If you're interested in that, on Bootstrap REI, on the Facebook page, or even on I have a YouTube channel on Bootstrap REI, you can look up, I have other videos out there that go over in great detail about seller financing. But so just so we're on the same page, a lease option is a contract where you're able to lease a property for a set period of time with the option to purchase. So you get the lease, set period of time with the option to purchase it. And it has to be that you're going to purchase it at a future date at an agreed upon price. So those things are set. Clear on that one? Pretty simple. A contract for deed. This is a contract that states that you must make payments until it's paid in full before the deed's actually transferred to you. Also called, as Eric has pointed out, an installment sales contract. It's just like the way I explain this to a seller, because they're like, what's a contract for deed? These are conversations that you need to know as investors, but you never are going to explain this to a seller. Like, I'm going to sell your house on a contract for deed, or I'm going to buy it on a contract for deed. No. You need to do it in layman's terms. And the way you do that is, how many of you have ever bought a car but didn't have enough money for the car? So you had to go through a bank. You get financing, right? What happens? Who gets the pink slip, and when do you actually get the pink slip or the title? When you pay it off, when all the payments are made, right? It's the exact same contract or concept. Contract for deed is, hey, when you make the final payment, then I'll deed you the property. Oh, okay, yeah, I understand that. Perfect. So that's how that works. Subject to, this is my favorite, by the way. Subject to is when the property is deeded to you, when they transfer title to you, with the understanding that you'll be taking over the payments. Now, this is not a loan assumption. That's something completely different, and it's not what we're talking about. This is basically the loan staying intact in somebody else's name, but now you're just making payments for that person because now you own the property on title. Now, I hear this sometimes, but wait, isn't subject to illegal? Sounds illegal, right? Sub to. It's bad. So this is a HUD form. HUD is a settlement statement that you get when you buy a house. It's regulated by the Housing and Urban Development. It's a federal form. And if you take a look here, line 203 is existing loans taken subject to. Check that out. So the federal government has made allowances for people to buy houses this way. So it's completely legal. But then we hear, well, wait. What about the due on sale clause? Now, there's something in mortgages that says that if you transfer title to somebody else and they now own a property that's still in somebody else's name, that the debt's in somebody else's name, there's a clause in there that says this could be called due on sale. because the transfer is considered a sale. So therefore, the mortgage is due in full. And so there's this big old myth that's out there about this boogeyman that's going to come get you. Like, hey, give me the house back because of this due on sale clause. Well, I believed that for a long, long time. And I actually bought a house this way. I bought in several houses this way. One of them was from this particular guy who has a mortgage from PNC Mortgage. Does anyone know who PNC Bank is? Like, are they a small player? Or are they a fairly decent player in the game? What was that? Big boys. Pittsburgh National, but yeah, huge company, right? So when I get this, I'm like, holy crap, that's it. My life is over. I'm going to jail. I can't afford this. It's happening to me. I knew it would. My mom told me that I should have never gotten into real estate. They're all crooks. All the stuff you hear, right? So I get this letter, and I'm like literally sweating bullets. In fact, I'm one of those guys, literally, like my house went into foreclosure, so I got this down pat. If bad news comes to me in the mail, I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll get to that later. It sat on my desk for like 3 weeks before I actually picked it up and really looked at it to see what it said. And this is what it said. It says, because our mortgage is in your name. Oh, wait, let me back up here a little bit. This is a bonus for you. If you buy a house subject to, who owns that property? I do, right? And the mortgage is in whose name? The previous owner, right? So we have two parties. Party A, previous owner. Party B, me, the new owner. Who has insurance? Who owns the house? The buyer, right? So insurance follows the buyer because buyer's the owner. This particular house, insurance followed the buyer. I'm the buyer. However, on a sub-2 purchase, I heard the answer out there, both. It has to be both. Owner has insurance, but because there's an additional interest in a mortgage in somebody else's name, they have to also be an additional insured. So here I am. What happened was, bought the house, got insurance, did it the right way. My name as the owner, additional insured is the borrower. And when it came for renewal, for some reason inside the computer system, that field just blanked this dude's name out, so it just had me. And they went through an audit, and they're like, hey, what's going on? Ryan Nickel, he's not the person who has this mortgage. What's going on here? So I get this letter. And all the letter says is because the mortgage is in your name, you must also be listed on the policy. If you have, now listen to this language here. If you have sold this property on a land contract, the insurance agent for the party occupying the property must list you as an additional insured. What did they just say? We're like, hey, we know what's up. We're getting our payments. We're cool with it. Just make sure this guy is insured or listed as an additional insured, and we're good. We're golden. I'm like, yes, this was my golden ticket. I felt like Willy Wonka. I got the golden ticket. Like after this, because I was kind of like leery about doing sub-2 deals. I was like, I don't know, man. There's boogeymen out there due on sale. After this, I'm like, bring all you got. Let's do them all. So now I do sub-2 without even thinking about it. In fact, let me give you a little bonus here. There's actually, I paid an attorney to figure this out. I wish I would have known this earlier because I would like never freaked out, but I did. So there's actually a law that was passed in 1982. It's called the Garn-St. Germain Act. And what in this law, it says that the owner of record may transfer their interest in their property from their given name. So Ryan Nickel can transfer his property into a trust without triggering the due on sale clause in most mortgage contracts. So guess what? I own no property in my name. All of my properties are all in trusts. So when I buy properties these days, I have the owner transferred into a trust, and then I just buy that trust. And so all my properties are in land trusts. So that's a bonus for y'all. So never sweat the due on sale clause ever again. All right, so let's talk about the nitty gritty, why you guys actually came. So recent deals. I'm going to talk to you about a deal that I did in Ridgecrest, California. Does anyone know where Ridgecrest actually is? Because I had no clue. So I had, we'll talk about how this deal came across my desk. Lower Wyandotte, this is a street in Oroville. Actually, it's not a street. It's like a major thoroughfare. I got a deal there. These are all this year, by the way. Ridgecrest was in January. Lower Wyandotte was in February. And Garden Highway, Yuba City, I just closed on end of April 22nd, 23rd, around there. So these are some of my most recent sub-2 purchases that I did. So let's talk about this. Ridgecrest, California. All right, this is a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Lower Wyandotte is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath mobile home. And Garden Highway is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, I don't know what you want to call it. Rambler. Ranch, I don't know, man. This is cottage. Yeah, that's probably a good term for it. What was that? Yeah, a bungalow. It's something. It's something sweet to my heart because it has a great cash flow. So let's talk about what motivates us. So as you can see here, there's 2 types of people that we're motivated in 2 different ways. You got the stick, you got the guy that's chasing you with the stick, you got the guy that's chasing the carrot. So let me go back here. We're motivated by pleasure or by pain or by pleasure. These are things that are intrinsic in our psyche, into human nature. And so we're either moving away from something or we're moving towards something. And I feel like I'm alienating this side of the room, so I'm going to walk over here for a little bit. So we're moving away from something or towards something. We're moving, away from fear or toward greed, something that's going to give us pleasure. So think about that as we go through this. Like, what motivates you and what motivates human beings in general? Here are some different types of motivation. So let's talk about this just for a little bit. Let's break this down because these are common motivating factors that you're going to come across as you talk to sellers, as you're either knocking on their doors, talking to them on their phone, or actually sitting belly to belly at their house, sipping on a Coors Light, which I don't do, if you know me. So talk about job transfer. Now, a job transfer, they could be either, moving away from something or moving towards something. I would figure like maybe a job transfer is a good thing. Like, hey man, I got a job transfer. I'm stepping up in life. I'm moving on. It's a good thing. But job transfers can also be something that's bad, something that they're moving away from. For example, it was about 2 or maybe even 3 years ago, Verizon shut down their call center here in Sacramento and moved everything to South Carolina. For a lot of people, that was a bad thing because either they had to sell their houses quick and move with their company or they were out of a job. So job transfer can be either or. A divorce, well, I don't know. This could go either way too, right? So either you're that's right, yeah. You could be moving away from a bad situation, or you could be running towards freedom. However you want to look at it, there's motivation intrinsic in a divorce. Tired landlords, definitely they're moving away from something. Evictions, problem tenants, things like that. That's something that they want to avoid. So there's things that are there. Probate. What would you guys say? Are they moving away from something or towards something with probate? Toward? Away? Paycheck. It could be both, right? So if we look at it this way, that, there's fear and then there's greed, the fear of a probate could be like, oh my gosh, I just inherited this piece of crap. What am I going to do with it? I can't afford it. There's a mortgage on it. What am I going to do? So there's fear, but it also could be the greed, like, I got grandma's house now. I'm going to sell this thing and pay off a lot of debt, go on vacation, hire a bunch of hookers. That's right, man. Who knows, right? I'm going to keep this PG, so. Where am I going? Oh, I'm like, this is like rewind. So pre-foreclosure, definitely that's definitely an away from. That's a painful situation that we want to get as far away from as possible. Have any of you ever been through foreclosure? That don't want to admit it? Okay, well, actually, we're amongst friends here. For those of you that don't know, let me explain a little bit what happens to you in foreclosure. It sucks. Yeah, it does suck. Totally does, Josh. You feel worthless about yourself because you can't provide. You feel unattractive. You're not eating because you're so stressed out. You can't keep food down. You're waking up in the middle of the night because you're panicking and you're vomiting. And then because of that, you look even uglier to your spouse. So you're not having sex. And life is just horrible. Pre-foreclosure, when you're knocking on someone's door, just keep that image in the back of your mind. Whoever you're talking to, their life is like the worst of the worst. So they're definitely moving away from that situation. What's so funny, man? Oh, come on, dude, share. That's the most untruthful answer I've heard all night. But I appreciate it. Thank you. So bankruptcy, definitely something you want to avoid. Need money but can't show the income. That's more of a greed thing. Like, hey man, I want this money over here, but I can't show that I'm getting income. Literally, I was in the car tonight and a guy called me. He's like, well, I'm on SSI and I'm also receiving Social Security and I don't want to get a lump sum for my mobile home. First off, he doesn't understand that it's his primary residence, so he can get a lump sum. But anyway, he's like, if I get a lump sum, I might lose my Social Security income. So, but I want money. I need extra cash. So there, he's agreed. They avoid capital gains, job loss. There's many. I don't want to belabor the point, except, Eric gave me 60 minutes, so I'm trying to fill it with as much of my ramblings as possible here on this one slide. No, actually, you guys should take note of this. These are important things to remember. Most of these are things that people want to avoid, and they're going through them in their personal life. And if you can help them move past that by taking the burden of real estate out of the equation, you'll get the deal. So let's talk about Ridgecrest. So her motivation is that her son became ill, and she couldn't afford both sons' medical treatments and the house. Pretty straight up, right? Like, look, my son's sick. I can't afford both. Help me. It came to me from another wholesaler. So I had no idea where in the world Ridgecrest was. I looked it up, and it's like on the back of the Sierra Nevadas, like on 395 going up towards Bishop. I'm like, holy crap, man, who lives out there? Apparently nobody, unless you're on a military base. Like, that's it. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess there's an Air Force base out here. Probably good. If they drop the bombs, no one's going to, minor casualties. Small town, off the map. So that's where that was at. And I'm like, okay, so there should be an opportunity, I guess. Laura Wyandotte, what was this guy's motivation? Well, he wanted money for a new place. He didn't want to live where his dad had died. Literally, his dad died in the bedroom there. And he's like, I don't want that. I want something new. I'm like, okay, sounds legit, right? Like, that's good motivation, right? A new place, new beginnings, and get away from dad's ghost haunting him in the middle of the night. This lead came from a property scout. I had a guy up there. He knew the family. He knew what was going on. So he knocked on the door and said, hey, you want to sell? And he's like, yeah, sure. Why not? So it was literally like that casual. Garden Highway. Excuse me. Fighting back tears, guys. Garden Highway's motivation was they wanted to pay off debt so that they could move into a bigger home. Like, you saw that place. It was kind of small, right? Like, this was a family. Big old dude. And a tiny old wife. Like, how does that happen sometimes? Like, opposites attract, right? Like, seriously, this dude was like, and his little old tiny wife, and then they had 3 kids, a teenager, and then 2, like a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, living in this like 700 square foot home. It was amazing. They're like feng shui experts. The way that they make IKEA drool. The way that they had the house, like, it was sophisticated, man. So, and this was a probate lead source. So I mailed them a probate letter, and they called back and said, hey, we inherited this house. Help us. So you guys want to hear what these conversations sound like? Yes. All right. So I don't actually have real recordings, but I can tell you how they went. Just like that. Give me your house and no one gets hurt. Most people think this is what I do. Like, literally, they think I like rob old ladies at gunpoint. I said, give me the keys. But it's mostly like this. Like, they're so grateful when it's all said and done. They're like in tears. They want to hug me. Like, they tell me like I'm their guardian angel. I go through like 3 Kleenex boxes a week with people. Do they look like that? When I'm done with them, they do. But, and there's a big but here, guys, it never starts there. Never does it start there. So you must know, and this is what Laurel said, guys, and she's spot on. I don't want you guys to just like, oh, whatever, I've heard this before, Stephen R. Covey, begin with the end in mind. No, it is so true. If you do not do your due diligence on the front end, what are you doing other than wasting your time and theirs? You must know your numbers. Like, I'm surprised she only spends an hour per property. Like, due diligence is huge. You must know your numbers before you can even begin to negotiate with these people. You have to do that. So Ridgecrest numbers, they bought it in 2018. When did I buy it? January 2019. Just recently, right? They owed $142,000 on it, and their monthly payment was $1,007. Now, this was a brand new, fully remodeled house. Like, I was amazed at the pictures. I'm like, are you sure this is your house? because I'd never been there. So we did a video walkthrough. She showed me everything. I'm like, damn, I'm scoring on this one. What's the catch? Because rarely do you get these houses in such pristine condition. So me to the seller, I said to her, look, you know what? And literally, this is how casual it was. I'm not sure if I can do this. It's far away in an area I've never been to, and I'm not sure if I can even find a buyer or not. Why don't you just rent it out? That's what I told her. Lower Wyandotte. He owed $112,000 on it. It's worth $130,000. Whoa. Hey, what's going on with my mic? Check baby, 1, 2. Okay. Let's a little date myself. Does anyone know that song? All right. So they were in the rear, $16,000. No one laughed, so I thought like, oh crap, you know. And the monthly payment was $985. So when I talked to this guy, he wanted a new place. He wanted $50,000, and he didn't bat an eye. He's like, I think I'll sell this for $50,000 to you. And I'm like, okay, $50,000, all right. So I said to him, I said, you know what? I'm not sure if I can help you. You're asking for $50,000 for a new place when this one's only worth $130,000 all fixed up. And you owe $128,000 and it's thrashed. By the way, I don't use the word trash. I found that word thrashed has a little bit deeper like emotion to it. Like this place is thrashed. So he said to me, well, it's not worth it to me for $2,000. I'll let the bank have it. Sounds great. It's not worth it to you. It's not worth it to me either. That's totally cool. I'm fine with that. Garden Highway numbers. This was my favorite. They inherited the house from their mom in 2016. They owed $58,000. It needed repairs, updates, whatever. About $35,000. I mean, it's like grandma had never done anything to it, or mom, whatever. It was worth about $115,000, and their monthly payment was $480. I'm like, damn, this is a good deal, man. So this is what I told them, and I hope you do the same thing too when it's in their best interest. I said, you know, you shouldn't sell me your house. You should stay and pay off your debt and then look at selling it once you've built up a little bit more equity. Because what they wanted to do was pay off their debt. I'm like, well, why would you pay off your debt? They had about $20,000 in debt. The numbers just didn't work for a flip on this one. So I said, just stay here. You're both making great money. I think the household income was about $3,000 a month. I'm like, it's nothing here. It's only $500. Pay off all that debt you have and then, move on. So these are the conversations that I'm having with people. So let me just recap this for you. Ridgecrest, I don't know your market. You should rent it out. Lower Wyandotte. Hey, if it's not worth $2,000 to you, then I agree. Let's let the bank have it. Cool with that? Garden Highway, you should stay and save money and pay down your debts. So I met them exactly where they were at. You all seen that? Okay. So what else are you seeing here? What was that? Educating? How? Being agreeable, okay? Empathetic? Okay, there you go. So presenting options. So you're an educator in that way. Good job, thanks. Checking for motivation. I'm empathetic. I'm agreeable. Yeah, you never want to get in a fight with somebody in their house because they always know where the kitchen knives are and you don't. Creating trust, definitely. I just remembered. Remind me to tell you about Lower Wyandotte when we get there, okay? No, I'll tell you right now. The dude locked the door on me. Straight up. Went over to the front door and bolted it. He's like, I'll get you there. Hang on, I'll hold that thought. I'll get you what happened to that one. I seriously thought, I'm like, holy crap, they're gonna find me in this house with flour tossed all over the walls. This place was a wreck. So where's their motivation? So let's go over there. So, wasn't their motivation was Ridgecrest was, hey, I can't afford my house anymore. Remember the son got ill? A Lower Wyandotte was, I want a new house. And Garden Highway was, I want to pay down my debts. That's what their motivation was, right? Seems pretty legit. Like if you knew this motivation going into an appointment, do you think you get the house? I used to think that too. Until I'd go back and then I'd follow up with them and I'm like, what do you mean someone else bought the house? What do you mean you sold to somebody else? You told me you couldn't afford it and I was going to buy it. You told me you wanted a new house. I was going to help you. What happened? I thought we bonded. No. So where did I take the conversation from on Ridgecrest? I took it away. I said, look, you know what? I don't know your market. You should rent it out. So rather than me running to her, I'm taking a step back like, whoa, hey, we should slow down. I just met you. Plus, I'm married. Laura Wyandotte, same thing. I took the conversation, not that I took the thing away from him, but I'm stepping away myself from the overall situation. And I said, hey, man, if it's not worth it for $2,000 for you, then I totally agree. Let's let the bank have it, man. Let's just move on, start fresh somewhere else. We're totally cool with that. Conversation, again, Garden Highway. Hey, you should stay, guys. Save your money and just, pay down your debts and then sell when you can. So I'm doing this on purpose. So where do we go from here? I basically walked out on them, right? I'm like, all right, see you guys. Thanks for the lemonade. So I left them there, and you'd think if I did leave them there, you'd think I was a jerk. Like, dude, this guy sucks. You looked him up on the Better Business Bureau, and he has like a good review. We should write them. I don't think people know about him yet, and I'm going to tell them. So it would be true if that's all I did was go over there and tell them everything that they already knew and said, hey, sorry, I don't want it. I would be doing them a disservice. Well, let me back up here. And that's what your competition does. Because they don't know how to do these deals. They don't know how to have these conversations. They're like, I don't know, man. It looks like you should give it back to the bank. I can't help you. Sorry. So if I'm not solving a problem, I'm only competing on what? Price. I can't do that. I'm not a bank. I solve problems by taking the real estate out of the equation. That's what I do. So I give them solutions. I usually say, hey, you know what? If you want to get more money out of it, why don't you go ahead and list it with a real estate agent, or just go ahead and fix it up and sell it yourself. Both options, you're going to make a lot more money than what I could offer you. So now I'm not leaving them empty-handed. I'm not this jerk that just came in there and like rained on their parade. I'm giving them solutions like, hey, both of those are our enemy, right? We don't want someone to list it with an agent, and we don't want them to fix it up themselves. So why would I tell them that? Because no one wants to do that. Exactly right. They've already told you, I don't have the money to fix it up, or I have no equity. How can I list it? But here's the thing. Both of these options work because they're price-based. So price-based solutions are basically listening with an agent to what? Make more money, fix it up and sell it to make more money. So I do this so that they can see that I am not their only option yet. They have other options. I want them to explore this option, at least mentally, to go through the exercises mentally, because if you tell them to do this, they're going to think it through. Oh, I can't do that. I got to do this. I don't want to fix it up. I don't want people coming in here and pulling all my lingerie out, whatever they do. So you want them to start thinking about moving away or towards something. And if you're telling them to fix it up, it's like, I can't afford that. I don't know how to do contractors. I'm going to hit my thumb. I don't know. So they're moving away from it. So by planting those seeds, I'm now having them mentally come my direction. So if I can't get my price, I must get my terms or the deal won't work. So I usually tell that to people. I said, look, I either buy on price or terms. If I can't get my price, I like to get my terms. But this is how this works. You guys remember this book? This was my very first book that I wrote. Why did I write this book? I'm in Georgia. I'm waking up every morning from 5 until 6, and I'm writing for I want to say about a month, roughly 30 days. So I put 30 hours into this book, and this book was my calling card because I have no experience. I started writing this book in December after I got my first deal. I'm like, yes, I can write a book. But this book, it sells me. It sells the whole solution. So I let the book educate. So rather than me come in there and tell them like, oh, you shouldn't do this and you can't do that, I now have a third-party authority that goes, hey, this is how you can do this here. Let me leave this with you as my gift. So when I go on a visit, I have this book. I always carry it with me. And if I realize that I'm not going to be able to get the deal right then and there on the spot, I'm setting the seeds and I'm giving them this book. And this book does two things. It teaches them that if no one's coming to see their house, There's a problem. What is the problem? It's priced too high. If people are coming, but there's no offers, there's a problem. What's the problem? It's priced too high. So rather than me being the jerk, like, you're priced too high, what are they going to do if I say that to them? They're going to fight back and say, no, it's not. My realtor friend told me that it's not too high. I'll get 20 offers if I do this. So rather than have them fight me and resist, the book is educating them. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And so both of these problems are solved by what? Dropping the price. But what if they can't drop the price? What if there's no equity to give up? What solution do they have then? They've exhausted fixing it and flipping it. They've exhausted hiring a realtor. And they've exhausted dropping the price because those are the solutions they had. So now what happens? They become my skinny deal. So he who educates dominates. You guys remember that? So if you're educating, you're going to dominate your marketplace. So remember what motivates us here, guys. Is it the stick or is it the carrot? Everyone's different. Everyone's situation is different. Are they moving away from or toward? Away from pain, toward pleasure? Or is it fear or is it greed? So let's actually uncover some emotional pain. So here's the thing, guys. People make decisions once you uncover their emotional pain. Be careful of smoke screens. If you haven't paid attention up until now, this is probably going to be the meat of the meeting right now. This is where I'm going to share with you some of the most important things that I do when talking to sellers. What you think is their motivation isn't. It's a smokescreen. And this is what separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls, the people who make money in this business and those who just get by luckily with a deal here or there. There's a real art and science to this. So logical versus emotional. It's just a logical response to their emotional problem, and you must be able to tell the difference between the two. What's the difference between a smokescreen and a real answer? And it's how they're so what they tell you is basically how they're justifying their decision, but it's not the emotional reason behind it. I'll give you an example. If you can find the emotional pain, once you discover their emotional pain, you have them. Like you own that person. You're able to help them in ways that no one else can because you've connected on an emotional level. And emotionally is where we make decisions, not logically. We just justify it after the fact. So when you have them, then and only then can you solve their emotional problem. And that's what we do, is solve emotional problems for people. So how do you do it? You learn to ask probing questions. You dig deeper. Maybe you guys have seen these before. Some guy created some flashcards, really brilliant guy. I happen to know him personally. And they allow you to dig deeper with your sellers. And let me give you some examples here. So the Ace of Clubs. Why would anyone want to sell a house like this? What does that do when you're in somebody's house? And I don't say it like, why would anyone want to sell a house like this? It's a piece of crap. No. It's how you say it. Like, man, this is really nice. Why would anyone want to sell a place like this? It's meant to probe and uncover their motivation. Well, you see, my son got sick and I just can't afford the payments anymore. Oh, well, tell me about that. Well, my dad died in this room over here. I can't think about, him. Every time I walk by that room, I think of my dad. I just need to sell this place. Or, we got a lot of debt. We really need to get into a bigger place, but we can't do that until we pay off our debt. So it's best for us to sell and pay off that debt. Oh, that makes sense. Jack of Clubs. Now, I use this when sellers are tight-lipped. How many of you have gone on an appointment and the seller's just like not talking? He read the art of the deal. He's like, oh, first person to talk loses. All right. And they practice that to a T. They just don't say anything. So I use this and I just straight up say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be asking a lot of questions about your property and your situation. And the more information I know about your property and the situation, the better offer I can give you. Oh, okay. Sounds good. So, and if I find that they're still kind of tight-lipped, it's just like, hey, you know what? I'll joke about it like a little bit. I'm like, are you sure you're telling me everything here? Because the more information I know, the better offer I can give you. And so that comes out every once in a while. And then there's also like the 7 of Hearts, a polar responder. How many of you have ever heard of a polar responder before? Other than Ethan. Ethan cheats. Ethan's one of my students. So he doesn't cheat. He's actually a very smart guy. He does his homework. So here's what a polar responder is. It's people tend to respond to the opposite of what you're saying. Like they want to be right. They want to fight. They want to stand their ground, And so if you know what you want them to say, suggest the opposite. So for example, if you know they don't have any equity, you just ask the question. So yeah, why don't you just list this property with an agent? Because I can't. Oh, okay. Tell me about that. So now it's them telling you, I can't do that. Oh, okay. Sounds great. Or they just got a job transfer. He has to be like in Illinois in like 10 days. You're like, so, how soon you want to close? We can spread this out for 9 months if you need us to. And like really say 9 months, like really slow. Like we give you as much time as you need. If you need 9 months, we can totally do that for you. It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 9 times. So, but you want them to say, I can't. I got to be in Illinois in 10 days. And so you want them to revoice that to you. Like, oh, okay, so it's their urgency that they're putting on you. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I totally get it, man. I can help you, no problem. So let's do this deal recap here. Okay, Ridgecrest, remember that house? All right. I told her, I don't know your market. You should rent it out. Lower Wyandotte. Hey, if it's not worth $2,000 to you, it's not to me either. No problem. Let's let the bank have it. Garden Highway, you should stay, save money, pay down your debts. So I'm agreeing with them, but what I'm also doing is I am flushing out their smoke screen. Because what would have happened is you would have went back and you would have said to your partner, to your boss, if you're an acquisitions guy or if you're a wholesaler or whatever, be like, yes, I got this deal. This person, they have to sell. They like, for example, Ridgecrest, they can't afford the payments anymore. Their son is sick. I totally got this deal. Let's give them a real lowball offer because they have to take it. You think you have their motivation, but guess what? You're wrong. You don't. You don't have their motivation at all. And the lesser investors would lose these deals to seasoned investors like you that understand that there's a deeper motivation behind all of this. Never, ever, ever settle and take their first answer as face value. It's always a smokescreen, or at best, it is a logical response to try to communicate what's happening emotionally behind the scenes. Now let's have the rest of the story. Smokescreens. Can't afford my house. Ridgecrest. Lower Wyandotte. I need a new house. Garden Highway. I want to pay down my debts. Let's go into these. Here's the true motivation. Ridgecrest. Remember? Can't afford my house. Okay. I could not afford to miss a house payment because she would lose her security clearance, her job, and ultimately her son's insurance. Emotional decision or logical decision? Emotional. This is the logical one. I can't afford it. I got a son who's sick and I can't make the payments. You hit the emotions here. What happens if you miss a payment? I lose my security clearance. What happens if you lose your security clearance? I lose my job. What happens if you lose your job? My son doesn't have insurance anymore. I cannot afford to let that happen. So when I heard, I can't afford my house anymore, she wasn't talking about her house. I can't afford to allow this to happen to my family. Extremely emotional. Took the house over like that. Took over payments on it. Didn't care if I had a person out there or not. Fortunately, it worked out just fine. I was emotionally attached to this one. I was like, oh man, I'm going to help you. Lower Wyandotte, true motivation. Remember, this guy says, I want a new house. I need $50,000. Buy me a new house. His true motivation came out. The house was going into foreclosure. He could not afford to have a tax consequence from a foreclosure that would garnish his wages or show that he made more money than he did because he was already paying 50% of his monthly check to child support and could not afford any more. Literally, after I said, hey man, if it's not worth it, let's let the bank take it. And he kind of like thought it through. He's like, holy crap, I can't afford this. If this happens to me, I'm already like living paycheck to paycheck. If they find out and they either garnish my wages because I don't pay the IRS because I can't afford this huge loss, or they want to up my child support because it looks like on paper I made more money, I'm screwed. He literally ran to the door, locked the deadbolt, turned around, got down on his knees, and like literally begging to me. He's like, Ryan, please, Ryan, you have to help me. You have to help me. Like, that was his situation. And I'm like, dude, what do you suggest? He's like, these are his words. $2,000 is better than nothing. Can we do this? Can we sign today? Can we have it right now today? Now, in case you don't know this, in California, you can't sign today. You can't give them money today. You have to wait a minimum of 5 days. But that was his motivation. As soon as he realized that this was what was going to happen, that was the real emotion behind him wanting to just like, take this problem from me, please. Garden Highway. These people. I want to pay down my debts. I want to, I got this house for my mom. I don't want to live here anymore. I only have a $500 a month mortgage. So they call me back. I met with them probably, I want to say the 1st of March, and they called me back the 1st of April. And they're like, look, man, we know that the house is a piece of crap. We know it's not worth much. We know there's a lot of repairs. But if you just could give us $5,000, we would be happy. We just would be happy. Started at 10, but we got them down to 5. I'm like, yeah, I'll come over. I'll take a look. So I was like, we've been just talking. This goes back to due diligence. We've just been talking round numbers. She looked at the monthly statement. She goes, yeah, this is what it is. I go there. I'm like, let me actually look at your monthly statement here. Something doesn't add up. Bingo. I discovered from the mortgage statement that his mother had a loan mod just before she died. And there was an additional $60,000 or $60,000 in deferred principal payments still owed on the property. They owed $115,000, exactly what it was worth, and it was trashed. At that point, husband became unglued, literally like getting ready to throw things. I'm like, I gotta like scoot like this house. Like, he was a big guy. There's a small living room. I'm like against the wall trying to get out because I'm like waiting for like things to start going through the windshield or through the window and stuff like that. So at that point, I'm like, oh gosh, okay, guys, you know what? This is going to be a gift, a total gift to you, because I'm telling you, this house is not worth a dime. Right now, you owe way too much on it. But I wanted that monthly payment. I'm thinking I can cash flow this baby. I could get renters in there for $950 a month, and I'll be cash flowing this thing $500. So I said, look, I'll give you $2,000. Just take over for your problems and everything that you guys are into it. Husband said, oh, if you could do that, if you could do $1,000, that's more than we would ever expect from anyone, given the condition and how this house is, upside down. And at least that $2,000 will get us into the place that we've already identified, because we have a place that we want. We just don't have the $2,000 for the deposit, and that's the exact money amount that we need. So worked out perfect. So it's time to solve their problem, right? So obviously the problem was with Ridgecrest is, they couldn't lose their security clearance. So I took over their house, sub 2, I gave the seller $500 because she showed the house to the person that actually ended up buying it. Laura Wyandotte, obviously, he couldn't have a foreclosure on his record and all that. I took over the house sub 2, and I did. Here's a way that I've been phrasing this lately, and I got this. This works in this particular situation. I was like, look, I'll take over your house as a form of debt relief for you, because that's what they're looking for, is debt relief. And so I say, I'll take it over. It's debt relief, and I'll give you $2,000 for it. Garden Highway, same thing. We just talked about that, took it over and gave him $2,000. So can you guys do this on your own? You can, right? Of course you can. This is something you definitely can do. You just need not take their smokescreen answers as face value. It's really what it comes down to. Learn to dig a little deeper when you're talking to people. I feel like, what's that movie, Tiana? You got to dig a little deeper. I got little kids, so got a lot of Disney coursing through my brain right now. So that's the key, is to actually just, hey, you know what? Whatever they tell you, agree with them. Sure, sounds great. You know what? No problem. But then dig deep and find out what the true motivation is, because they're going to tell that same smokescreen answer to everybody else, and it will probably run them off. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good deal. Okay, sure. So, but really, why would you want to? I got something for you guys. You need these tools. My book, Why You Can't Sell Your House, is a great book. It's a great resource. You go and you talk to people. It's the authority. You sit there, and the book is designed to walk them from I want to sell my house for top dollar too. Oh crap, you know what? Maybe I can't do all this stuff. Maybe I should just, seller financing. I've never heard about that. Oh, that's a great idea. I can't tell you how many houses literally that I have bought by just either giving the book physically to a person or emailing them the PDF and having them read it. Some people don't even read it. They just go, oh, you wrote a book? Okay, sure. I'll just trust this guy. And then my flashcards, they're great. They're good resources for you guys. If you already have them, fantastic. If you don't, I wanted to make it available for you. Oh, look at this. You froze me. Right when I get ready to do the pitch, it breaks. Your battery is running low. Do not sell anything in this room or you will be kicked out permanently. It won't even let me use the mouse. I got 2 here. Oh, that's why it's on this one. No wonder. Oh, they're like, oh, he's selling? I'm out of here. So if you have, I brought some books. If you want my book, it's $10. If you want my flashcards, it's 20. If you want both of them, it's 30, and I'll include the audio for both. So you can get the audio for the book and you get the audio for the flashcard. It's not a hard sell, guys. If you want it, totally cool. I'll hook you up. If you don't, hey, no problem whatsoever. Check out my Facebook page. You get all kinds of free stuff. If you want to get a hold of me, that's how you can get a hold of me. There's my cell phone number and my email. And I got 7 minutes for questions. Yeah.
So the last one, you got 115, or basically you're in the house 150, that's what they owe, it's worth 115.
On Zillow.
Okay. Which is, okay, I got that. So, but generally speaking, you're owing basically what the house is worth to. So what did you do? Did you sell that? Or you rented that out?
It's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So I have 2 offers on the table right now. I sold it. I have an offer for selling it at $150,000 as is, with $12,000 down and $1,000 a month for 30 years. That's option 1. Option 2, which is, and I'm leaning towards this one, is I have another gentleman who has a house that he owes $48,000 on, all fixed up is worth about $312,000. He's a hoarder, has nowhere to go. I'm fixing this house up to transfer him into this house, and I'm going to give him a year of rent free and fix the house up, and then I'm going to buy his other house for about $110,000. And so that's my other option, is I'm probably going to do that with that guy, and I'm going to do a discounted rent with him because he's elderly and feeble, and there's some issues with his health there. But otherwise, if this other house wasn't in the equation, all day long I would have collected the $12,000 and then monthly cash flow right in the hip pocket National Bank. So, a question in the back. Yeah. I seller financed all of them. Yeah. 4 years now. Oh, no, I go after a lot of these people too. Craigslist? Just calling? Oh, yeah, that's all I did. I had nothing but time. Yeah. So I got on the phone and I actually called for rent by owners. Because what's an accidental landlord? Someone who doesn't want the house. They had put it on the market, it didn't sell. So I would always call the for rent by owners that were not with property managers. And I picked up a lot of houses that way. Good questions. Yeah, Josh.
How did you find your why, and how long did it take you after you lost your house to foreclosure?
My why?
I mean, like your why. So, how did you find your motivation to pursue even after people said you were stupid?
You know what? I believed in myself. Yeah. And my back was against the wall that I had to do it. I mean, I exhausted everything else. This was my last frontier kind of thing. I had to do it. Anybody else? Yeah, and I'll get you in the back. I still am a sole proprietor. Yep. So my mentor originally said, there's guys out there who want to sell you courses on how to go out and incorporate and all that other crap. He's like, don't do that until you actually have something to protect. If not, you're just building a castle around an empty field. And for the longest time, I had skinny deals where I had nothing but cash flow, minimal cash flow. But now, I don't own any assets. I control them all, but I don't own anything. I don't have anything in my name. So what do I have to protect?
So when you bought these 3 houses, what came to the trust?
Yeah, they're all in a trust. Separate trust for each house. Each individual house has its own different trust. Yeah. That's a great question. That's a really smart question. Ridgeland or so Ridgecrest. I own a property in Ridgeland, South Carolina. That's why. Ridgecrest, one conversation, one phone call. That's all it was. Laura Wyandotte, one conversation at the house, and they like locked me in. Garden Highway was 2 conversations. First time I said, "Hey guys, just pay down your debt," and then they called me back the second time about a month later, and that's when I reviewed the statement. I'm like, "There's nothing here, guys," and that's when we wrapped everything up. But I always carry contracts with me. Hey, I still got 3 minutes. But that's a great question. So yeah, you know what, I used to be the guy that'd be like, well, I need to go back and look at my numbers. I'm not discounting that, but I've turned myself into a one-time close, because if not, someone's going to come behind me and they're going to get that deal. While the other guy goes, oh, their motivation is that they can't afford this house because there's a kid that's sick. I'm going to go run back, do my numbers, do this song and dance kind of a thing. No, I'm right there on the spot, man. I'm real and I'm authentic. I've already done my due diligence. And that's what Laura was saying. Like, no, do the end in mind. Like, know your numbers before you go to the house. You're wasting time. Because someone like me is going to come in there and swoop it out from underneath you. I can tell you, I've had that happen to me enough times that I've learned my lesson. Like, screw that, man. I don't want to. That's a sick feeling. That's an ugly feeling. I do not like that feeling. Talking about motivation, I'm moving away from that kind of a situation. So I show up, I'm on the spot, and I'm ready to rock and roll. No, I'm in a contract, though. That contract is locked down. Yeah. I sell them all myself. All my seller finance transactions, I sell all of them myself. Yeah. My flips, I use an agent because I want top dollar. Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. And a sign in the yard. The Laura Wyandotte people, they just put a sign right in the yard, said 3-bed, 2-bath, seller financing, call me, ask how. And they took the sign off and walked into the house with it. Let me share this with you guys. Everyone talks about finding motivated sellers and all this stuff. I don't focus on finding motivated sellers as much as I focus on finding motivated buyers. Because my business model, as far as seller financing goes, revolves around motivated buyers. The more motivated they are, the more they're willing to pay as a down payment and a monthly payment. So when they took the sign off the yard and walked in with it, I knew that I had them, that they were motivated. That was it. And they came in with a lot of down because we had some surprises on that one. They came in with $27,000 down on a mobile home. Cash. I'm sitting there. I had to buy a cash counter. Seriously. I'm like, it took me like 90 minutes to do this. So I went out and bought a cash counter. And then I had a drug dealer come in. He bought a house I have in Grass Valley. And he brought $45,000 cash. Like in 20 seconds, I'm like, oh, okay, it's all there. All right. I actually had to divide the number by like, hundreds. I'm like, okay, it sounds right. So there's one more question. Got 34 seconds. Oh, yes. A copy of a trust? Well, shoot. How much you got? My trust? No, I have to think about that. Yeah. Okay, for sure. Anybody else? We got 9 seconds. 7 seconds. Yeah, Michelle? I'm not. But thank you for asking. I don't know how I want to do my mentoring in the future. And so I've kind of put mentoring on hold. I have students that are still hanging on because they don't want to let me go. But the real reason is I'm torn because I'm training my competition in my own backyard. And that's really the truth of the matter. Yeah. Oh, he said no.
Go for it.
Hey, wait, hang on. I just want to say thank you for coming, Stan Lee. No. So I paid my attorney the first couple of times I did it, and I got his template. And so now I was so frustrated, literally. He's running behind schedule. I go into his office. I'm like, Chris, come on. I got 2 closings today, man. Help me out here. He's like, oh, come on in here, man. We're shooting the breeze. And he's typing it up. And he goes, here, review this. He prints it out. And I'm like, who's Lorraine? Oh, sorry, dude. Sorry, this template doesn't get all the names sometimes. I'm like, template? What am I paying you for? He's like, you're paying my law firm to use my firm as an authority. You don't care about the paperwork, do you? I'm like, actually, I don't. But now that I got it, I'm going to hire a VA and I'm going to have her type it all up. I thought it was special every time. So it's a template. So I just go in, change the names. And in fact, I built a software system engine that puts it all in for me. So I don't have to do it anymore because it used to take me like seriously 5 hours. My wife is like, dinner's ready. I'm like, I got to close it. I can't come right now. I'm sorry. So I finally got smart after like 2 years of doing this by hand to build the software engine that just one time plugs it in and boop, it's done. Sorry, long-winded answer, but anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
Alrighty. Was that awesome or what?
You're welcome.
Yeah, there were lots of insights in there. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, you're welcome, man. I want you to know that Eric's like, if you're going to come, you have to speak something new. And I'm like, dude, I'm in Tennessee 1 week. My brother just graduated from dental school last week, and it was Mother's Day. And I had a choice between, I do a video for my wife every year. And so it literally is like a collage of videos and pictures from like the whole previous year for Mother's Day. And I do all these like fancy comments and stuff. And she gets emotional. I love it because she's all cry and sappy, and it's like super cool. So I feel like a good husband at that point for all the time that I'm gone, like missing dinner because I'm buying houses. So I had a choice to either do my Mother's Day video or do Eric's presentation. And I chose to do Mother's Day video. So literally today, my wife is sick and she's like, can you give me some chicken noodle soup? I'm like, I can't, honey. I'm doing Eric's presentation. You got your video yesterday. You were good for another year, right? No, I took care of her. She's just fine. But literally all day, like literally an hour before I drove down here, I was working on this because I wanted to give you guys the best of me on what I'm doing on these things. So it might be a little bit disjointed, but it was really, my heart was in it to give you the absolute best of how I work with these people. So
tell you what, I'll send some meat and cheese down for your wife to make her feel better. Alrighty. Okay, we got a little bit left of the presentation tonight, and then we'll have some more networking. But I found real value in that, so I'm really appreciative of Ryan. So... Alrighty. Anybody celebrate any wins? Anybody close any? Josh, get up here. Don't break my stuff.
I think it's just feedback. This is Josh. Wins. I'm kind of pursuing my dreams. Finishing off the semester. Thinking of getting my license after I finish the classes and yeah. So thinking of getting my real estate license, finish my classes. I'm going to finish my classes tomorrow. And then I'm probably going to quit going to college and pursue real estate. And sorry for saying so much. Anyways, last night I registered a domain. This is joshjuly.com. And yeah. That's a win. And I'm buying and selling stuff off Craigslist and making profit there and not working a 9 to 5 right now.
All right. So it sounds like a win. He said he's going to drop out of school and pursue real estate full time. So that sounds like a win. Anybody? Well, come on. Why don't you? Hey, if you got any wins, why don't you just come up here and we'll just hand off the mic.
We need a line going on here. Just a lineup. Put some tape. So it's been a while since I've been here. I've been sick and super busy, but in the last 3 weeks, I've closed my first 3 traditional sales transactions for about 1.5 million. Awesome feeling. And then we just closed out on last week on our Fab 40s flip, which is going to net somewhere between 130 and 160-ish. And we actually obtained all the gap funding from a member of the roundtable. Awesome. So remember the networking I was talking about, boom, that's a direct result of that. And then Will actually has a huge win. He just closed on a $10.5 million, 93-unit apartment complex in Sacramento because of the relationships built in the roundtable. Absolutely amazing. And to show our appreciation to the roundtable for helping Sierra Bay really grow to what we are today, we have a celebratory check. It's not real. We have the real one at our office, but it's for $500 to help Eric with his lighting that he's been needing for a long, long time. That is the biggest win. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, we need more wins like that. Bring your checkbooks up when you come to share your win.
Well, now, yeah, I get to follow that. My name is Travis Snogler. This is probably my third or fourth time here. But I've been a realtor since 2012. So I've bought and sold houses for plenty of people. But we just closed today on 2 single-family rental properties in Dayton, Ohio, that I got on an auction website, both of which for $33,000 plus a 10% buyer's fee. That already have $600 coming in from one of the units. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the others. And additionally, I have nine mobile home sites. So I have basically 11 lots, about an acre and a half that have the 2 homes. So I might end up building 9 homes on the places as well. So still going to figure that out. But those were my first closes for investment property.
Alrighty. Okay, so real quick, that's a huge win. So one of the challenges in here from running the event is the lighting. So I just want to give a huge thank. That's a huge win for us, and that's actually support we're going to give right back. Dwight just actually told me tonight before the meeting started that he's got everything lined up. He's got the lights. We just need someone to install it. So all we needed was the sponsor, and it just came through. So that's a huge win. And I think I just heard several times also from Shane that just being a member of the Real Estate Roundtable is a huge win for everybody here. So I appreciate you guys showing up every time and supporting our group. Thanks, Will. Pitches. Anybody got any deals out there they want to pitch? I know a couple guys asked me. Same thing. Why don't you just come up here and form a line and we'll just work through these.
Hi, my name is Vladimir. I'm first time here. And the reason why I'm here is because, hello. Yes. The reason why I'm here, I have Fixer, which I would like to or sell or partner locally in Carmichael. If anyone is interested, please see me. In Carmichael. What kind of property? Single family.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'm going to project. Yeah, I'll use this. Hey everyone, my name is Jason. This is my brother Ben. Past couple of years, we've been working on our out-of-state real estate portfolio, and we recently came across a deal that we're looking to get some partners with and stuff, and so we wanted to show you guys that tonight.
So thank you for your attention and for being here, and thank you, Eric. How's this? Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Eric, for having us. Just to quickly go over the deal, it's a cash flowing 7-plex in downtown Omaha. It's fully rented. We are seeking 2 equity partners to raise $115,000. We have a negotiable capital stack, and our project goals are a 14% cash-on-cash return annually, which would result in $19,500 cash flow. And that would add a forced depreciation on the property of $163,000. I have a couple flyers. We have a couple flyers, and we'll be around. So, thank you.
Yeah, run over there and give him a flyer right now. So I just want to point out that, hey, thank you guys. That is a great way to do a pitch. I love the fact you came in here knowing your numbers and prepared with your deal. So good job.
Hey guys, this is less of a pitch and more of an ask. We have a couple of investors right now who have tried to get in and talk to us about doing some commercial development, build to suit type stuff. And we can't deliver on all the asks that we have right now. We have about $5 million from one particular investor that is 1031 and needs to be placed probably within the next 30 days, or we as a firm are going to lose the deal. We're trying to work on this as a collective. We have a few people in the room that are property hunting for us, and we have about 1,000 mailers going out to target specific multifamily properties in the region. If any of you guys have any property or know anybody that has an asset that we might be able to move into the portfolio, we're looking for either a good $5 million win or a couple smaller properties where we can get a blended cap rate that serves a portfolio that is hopefully at least between 6 or 7% cap rate or higher. They want to go all in region. This is the challenge that we have in our hands right now. It's tough finding 6 to 7 caps within region. We have a few Some people in the roundtable have hunted them down and found 8 caps locally that we're evaluating right now. They're in the room. But if you guys have anything for us, please do let us know. We're really trying to place this money, and we will make sure that you're paid. Thank you again.
Hey guys, Roundtable, what's happening? My name's Nerby, and I'm the Roundtable rock climber. So if you want to come and chat with me about climbing mountains, I'm heading to Zion next week. Should be fun. It's kind of like the red Yosemite Valley. But while I'm not climbing rocks, I am raising money for apartment buildings. And if you like apartment buildings out of state as a passive investor or as a general partner, I'd love to chat with you after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Pat. I've got single-family cash-flowing rental properties in Milwaukee. These are fully renovated. They've got tenants in place, property management in place. They cash flow in the double-digit net returns. We've got lenders if you need it. You can see them all on my website, thrivehomes.net, or see me, and I'll be happy to give you all the information.
Alrighty. Any more pitches? Cool. Well, that was great. I love to see all these deals coming. Alrighty. Resource recommendations. Anybody reading any good books? Any good websites? Any other resources? What do you got?
I read both of Ryan's books. They're really good.
I've listened to both the audios on them, so they're really good. Anybody else? Oh, Laurel. Crucial Conversations with Ryan Nickel. All right. Yeah, David Green, the Burr Method for Investing. Okay. Anybody else? I always throw one of mine in here. I just finished reading the Accidental Superpower. This guy, Peter Zion, who wrote this book, is a geopolitical strategist. And it's fascinating because the United States is so well positioned for the next couple of decades. And when you hear the news and what's going on, particularly with the upcoming election cycle, the United States is poised so well for huge success. And investing in real estate is exactly where you want to be as this thing trends. Covers a lot of things about how, for example, the United States is now a net energy exporter. And because of our shale generation, we generate so much natural gas, which is creating the reindustrialization of the United States. We're seeing a lot of that activity happening in the South right now. And this really lays the background for why the economy is thriving and why we're moving. And I think it dispels a lot of the ideas of a lot of these looming doomsday real estate prosecutors that we hear. I highly recommend it. It's a great read. The guy's hilarious too. So check that out. If you're not already a member, please join the Real Estate Roundtable Facebook page. The Facebook Live videos will be on there. We got lots of great contributors now. People are posting deals. I did a flip off our page last year. So join that. Meetup. We're on Meetup. So make sure. Just another thing too. When we send out the invites for the meetups, please, like or join or, say you're coming, because when a lot of people are looking at they're looking for social proof. And, we had a great attendance. I think we had close to 90 people here tonight. So that's not necessarily reflected when you look at our group pages. So, a lot of people, especially if you're looking for networking opportunities, want to make sure there's a strong showing. So that helps the group. Our YouTube channel, we've been populating it with all this great video content that we're doing. One of the challenges with YouTube is you have to hit at least 100 subscribers before you'll get into their larger ecosystem. In fact, you can't even search our page right now. When you get the slides, the links on there, or you can reach out to me and I'll make sure you get there. Right now, we're about 40 subscribers, but we're growing. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. Crew. So Crew is the commercial women in real estate. They're having a opportunity zone summit coming up this Thursday at 8 a.m. They got great speakers, including Neil Bawa, who helps us with the multifamily night. So if you're interested in the opportunities, investing in opportunity zones is a great strategy. You can tax defer money up to 7 years and get tax-free gains on all the investments in the zone if you hold the property for more than 10 years. So it's a great strategy. Coming up next Monday night, multifamily night. So we're hitting our 3rd month now. We've added an additional night. So now the roundtable runs 3 nights a month. So every 3rd Monday is a night dedicated strictly to multifamily and advanced strategies there. We're going to have Jim Lofgren. He's the Senior Vice President from the California Apartment Association. There are huge threats coming with rent control. Although Prop 10 was defeated in the last election cycle, the proponents for rent control got right back on it. There's all sorts of new legislation happening both in Sacramento and at the state level. He's going to fill us in all the details on that. And more importantly, how we can get involved. You can't be passive about this stuff because this is affecting our business. And most of the information about rent control is wrong. The problem with rents going up is it's a function of lack of supply. So please join us for the multifamily night. Also, the multifamily night is really geared towards deals. So there's deals presented there and more opportunities to invest both actively as general partners or as passive investors, both in market and throughout the country. I'm Eric Blue. My contact information's in there. In addition to real estate, my family has a big farm. We run an Airbnb there. So we'd love to have you. Ryan's come up and checked out all our baby goats and stuff. Brought his family up, so that was a real treat. Aha moments. Anybody have any aha moments tonight? Any light bulbs go off? Josh, come. Why be sorry?
Okay, so this is Josh. You can find information on me on thisisjoshjuly.com. Huh? Okay, anyways. Aha moment. So an aha moment I've had is think smart, not hard. The reason I'm saying that is because my mom keeps setting up interviews for me at her work, but I'm trying to pursue this thing, and I don't ask for the interviews. But anyways, sorry for getting sidetracked. An aha moment is I'm trying to pursue my dreams, and I've been getting closer and closer to my goals. And hopefully one day she'll agree with what I'm pursuing and will not tell me that I'm just chasing. Yeah, I need my first shut up check. So yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Hey, you know what? I have to hand it to, oops, I just did it again. I have to hand it to Josh. He's one of our youngest members, and he's not always the best communicator, but he tries. He's a big supporter. He helps out with a lot of the setup, and he always makes an effort. So, Laurel said it. A lot of people said it's about taking action, and he may not do it perfect, but he makes an attempt. So, good job, Josh. Come on.
Okay, my name's Dante Brown. I'm here local in Sacramento County, live over there in Natomas. And today I would say my aha moment would be being grateful for the little things. You know, those things that we take for granted every single day, like just waking up, just having somewhere to live on a daily basis, just being able to connect with people who are like-minded individuals on a daily basis. Have an opportunity to create wealth, to create health, and to make a change in this world. So that's my aha moment, is just being grateful for the little things.
Thank you. Alrighty. Well, my aha moment, I know Ryan really well. And in fact, I just saw him last week with Alexis McGee. And every time I see him speak, I gain some new wisdom, something that I can do in my business. And the thing that's always impressed me, I remember he runs a meetup up in Marysville as well. I remember, about 2 years ago, I went to the first one. He's so authentic and so transparent that he was talking about a conversation he was having with a seller. He literally plugged his phone into the projector and showed us exactly what the conversation is. And that genuineness and that authenticity, and I think that shows tonight, and I think that shows in how successful his business is. And the fact that he does deals that he don't necessarily make economic sense for him right now, just to help people, I think is why his business is growing so much, because by paying it forward, by putting that energy out to the universe, it just brings it back. And I hope all of you apply that to your business. For me, the Real Estate Roundtable is one of the ways that what was it? Educate. He who educates dominates. Providing education, part of the reason we teamed up with Neil Baugh and the Multifamily University is how can you have people invest in your projects if they don't understand how this business operates? So using education as your marketing, that's what you give away. That's what you share with everybody. People in this room aren't your competition. They're your collaboration. These are people you're going to do deals with. Why do you think Ryan comes here and shares how he does business? It's a world of abundance, and he just feels that the more people understand this, the more people are going to connect with him. And this holds true for the rest of you as well. So that's kind of my closing thoughts. So I just want to say good night. Go make some good things happen. We hope to see you back here next week for Multifamily. We got the room till 10 o'clock, so please stay in network. If you want to get involved, we could always use help packing up. I just really want to thank Will for the bonus money. That was great. Big shout out for Laurel. She's going to be another recurring part of tonight. She's also a new sponsor. I'll shut up now.